And there's the music, and hello, and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me, as always, is...
I guess you're talking about me, Phil me and Perich.
That's the one. Phil F. Perich. Fill me in.
Oh, okay.
The man with the plans, the man of the hour, the man without whom none of this would be possible. The man who is still young enough to have energy. I see Phil running around. No, dude. You're like, oh, I told Rob I would go do a separate marathon in addition to the marathon he's doing, just to fill out the blanks.
An online marathon, so yeah, I have enough energy to sit on my butt all day in front of a computer if that's what it takes. And even though you don't have to do that all day.
It takes a lot of energy to sit on your butt, let me tell you. You know what? I'm going to tell you, this is the true story. Why sitting on your butt is the most important skill you have to hone. My father was a workaholic. He was also an alcoholic. But as my mom said, she didn't know men came any other way, and she loved the fact that he was a workaholic, too. And at a certain point, as happens to every workaholic, they do have to retire. And in, like, the first week after retirement, he had repainted the house. He had done all the landscaping he had said he would do for years, and did every bit of laundry and dish in the house, and then there was nothing for him to do. And he just starts pacing and pacing and pacing. And I look at him one day and I say, Dad, you're retired. Relax. And he said, you know, Charlie, I'm not like you. I can't just sit on my butt all day. And I said, yeah, I know. It's not as easy as I've been making it look all these years, is it? So, yes, cultivate the skill of sitting on your butt. Because if you don't, it may come back to bite you in the proverbial tuchus. Okay. So, big news this week. Secret Empire number 10. The culmination, the denouement, if you will, to actually end a summer event in summer. Everyone's so excited. And we got a voicemail on this from a new and mysterious caller.
That's right. I thought you were going to do
oh, yes,
Justin
it is
Sandberg.
Justin, the sensational Justin Sandberg. He's so sensational.
Yeah, so,
he's going to sensationalize it all.
Hopefully it starts a trend. But yeah, Justin sent us a message about Secret Empire. So here we go.
Welcome to the family, Justin.
Hey, this is Justin Sandberg in Minnesota, calling in about the end of Secret Empire. I got to say, the Hydra Cap Secret Empire idea was a great elevator pitch. Had a lot of potential. Marvel should be commended for basically doing a big what-if story, but within canon, within continuity. But I think the series was mishandled. The storytelling or timeline was choppy. I still don't even know whose point of view was expressed in those Secret Empire caption boxes. So I have no idea who the narrator was. I'm not even sure I care anymore. I predict the consensus among the readers will be that, relief that it's over. But to Nick Spencer's credit, during the build-up, the Sam Wilson Cat book was really good. Enjoyed it a lot. And for me, the bright spots in the event were the tie-in stories running through Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, and U.S. Avengers. Those three titles were actually better reads than the main event itself. For Doctor Strange, Dennis Hopeless used it as an opportunity to help us check in on Spider-Woman. And man, I missed that title. U.S. Avengers, Al Ewing and Paco Medina are having a great run. They're going to go down in history as a great run. It's funny and clever, and the artwork is beautiful. I hope you guys talk about it more on the show in the future. I have high hopes for Mark Waid's third run on Captain America. Didn't think that would ever happen, so that's something to look forward to. That should be fun. So have a great night, and hope for better stories in the future, and take care, guys. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, that was awesome. And yes, Mr. Sandberg, sensational Justin, the most justified, sensationalized Justin Sandberg. Yeah, I mean, hey, I've been reading U.S. Avengers this whole time. And we both have been reading Doctor Strange, and we could not. I cannot agree with you more. They were both really great series.
Oh, yeah.
what I loved about U.S. Avengers was, as he says, it had this hint of humor while still dealing with very dramatic things. I mean, it was in its own way kind of like that perfect Bond. That it was, it was a perfect variation on the Ian Fleming theme. It was that idea of quippiness and high stakes. And I really loved it. I love Sunspot as basically a supervillain for good. It is such an amazing concept. The idea of like, what if Lex Luthor were actually a superhero instead of just doing it for the kicks? And I really think that Sunspot really makes that a go of it. One of the things I love about that is just the idea that, Sunspot was never really, he wasn't like a science genius before, but of course the Marvel Universe has lots of geniuses who aren't science geniuses. Mm-hmm. And guys like Cap and Nick Fury emphasize that. These guys who are just really planning things out, even though they're not tinkering in their labs, they're still making really amazing changes to the world and plotting things out 6, 7, 18 moves in advance.
Oh, when we're done with Secret Empire talk, remind me to tell you about this week's infamous Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, I did not pick that up. Well, I mean, I browsed through it, debated it.
Did you see the last page?
Oh, yeah. I saw what it all was.
Who the maker was? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, was that the maker or was that his mother?
No, I think, well, it was supposed to be the maker, but it was someone in disguise.
Well, yes, yeah. Maybe was it his mother? Was his mother there, or because I thought that was his mother? I thought the maker had partnered with that reveal.
Yeah, the maker did partner with his mother, but well, the reveal makes sense because.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, we'll get to that in a minute, but let's talk Secret Empire. And
Justin had, I mean, I think he was kind of hinting at this, and I kind of had this thought. I want to know if you had this thought. Even though they added another issue, did it kind of seem rushed to you, this last issue? Like, I mean, we did all this build up for at least a year or more, and do you think that ending is what they originally had planned, or did they change plans? Because, all right, spoilers. They pulled a Superman 3, and you got good Steve Rogers versus bad Steve Rogers.
Oh, they did something a little bit. Yeah, Superman 3, greatest Superman film ever made.
I know. I'll get you with that.
And let me tell you what they did. Was they gave Rogers a get out of jail free card.
Oh yeah.
And a get out of jail free card that was double emphasized by the recent Deadpool, which I didn't pick up, but I saw the spoilers from it, and I know you picked it up.
Yeah.
And
you mean about that? They actually mentioned that the evil version was locked up.
Yeah, that the evil version was locked up, which says that it's like a double Riker. There's a quantum co-location of our Steve Rogers. Both are very much the real Steve Rogers, and both feel they're very much the real Steve Rogers. And it is really just a question of who thinks who is the duplicate.
So are they both real? I mean,
they're both.
They're both. Was the original Steve Rogers just split, or I mean, at first in the story it seemed like the original Steve Rogers was corrupted. Kobik took the tiny shard left that was good and pulled him out and created a whole second Steve Rogers.
No. What happened was Steve Rogers died along with Tony Stark at the end of the 616. They both died before Secret Wars. And when there's not a Dr. Doom available, you got to make one out of whole cloth. And that's what Franklin Richards did. So, yeah, neither, essentially, to make a point, especially when we discuss the vanishing point and things of that nature, there is no history here. And this, I think, is an important point. When Franklin recreated the universe, he didn't recreate it from... he built a fully formed universe at a point that we're rejoining it. At least, assumably. I mean, maybe he put the universe back to zero, but then, why was there still a incursion event? It's a very strange thing. So since the incursion events still occurred, we have to assume the universe basically came fully formed out of whole cloth from the mind of Franklin Richards.
It seems to me that the universe, Franklin and Reed tried to put the universe back exactly the way it was.
And the Molecule Man, who's still evil, remember?
And the Molecule Man, and it seems like they tried to make it so most of the world didn't remember the incursions and Secret War and all that. But there are, I don't know if they had to fill in elements from different universes.
Well no, clearly the heroes. I mean, clearly the heroes remember the incursions.
I don't know if everybody remembers, because I know I stopped getting it for a while. I picked up the last couple issues of Jessica Jones. I'm thinking I'm like back up to date except for like one issue, but that's one of the things Jessica had a problem with. She was working with Captain Marvel when everything was good there, except the one problem she had is, you remember that guy remember when I was covering it? That guy who got arrested for killing his wife, and then he said, it wasn't my wife, I'm from a different universe, blah, blah, blah. Well, Jessica confronts Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel basically just kind of ignores her when she's like, yeah, this guy says, a lot of what's going on, what happened, and you're not saying anything. And Captain Marvel basically didn't say anything to her.
Yeah, but we know from Ms. Marvel that everyone remembers the incursions. So everyone remembers the last incursion, but that was just one more Brown Hornet moment for them in the Marvel Universe, which is that the hero's miraculous powers, we all escaped unharmed.
Most of the world doesn't remember, oh yeah, I died.
No, they don't remember they died, because no one died. No one remembers dying. So it's not like Cap is sitting there saying, oh yeah, I died.
Mm-hmm.
He probably doesn't even remember fighting Tony Stark. He probably remembers he and Tony Stark saving the universe somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if anything is going to get really weird, it's going to be when Tony and him ask, how did we save the universe again? How did that work? That's the question that we have to deal with. Tristan's very mad at me right now because I didn't let him do a little dance with music for the Five Nights at Freddy's in the background. But you know what? It's not his podcast. He has his own YouTube channel. You can go to Toxin Gamer on YouTube, and you'll find all of his videos. He's 8, and he has videos.
Oh, really? I'll have to tell Luca.
Oh, yeah. He's on YouTube all the time.
Luca,
they'll let anyone post.
My 4-year-old loves watching people game on YouTube. I'll have to tell him that.
I had to have an older gender because if I put in my real birth, they would not let me have a YouTube channel.
Yes, that's true. So I'm glad you've learned to subvert parental protocols already, Tristan. Okay. He's doing the crazy leg dance. Yes.
A thirst for fame and show business must be an Esser trait.
Oh, it is. It is. I'm sorry, what?
Sorry I pissed you off on the last time.
I know, but you can't play copyright music on my show. Well, you were playing the music. That was Scott Kaufman's music. That's all copyright.
No, it wasn't Scott Kaufman.
Well, whose music was it?
I don't know. I didn't.
Okay, but it was probably a Five Nights at Freddy's theme, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that means Scott Kaufman wrote it. Okay.
Scott Kaufman doesn't write all the Five Nights at Freddy's music.
Okay, but I'm sure it was copyright to somebody. Okay, no, it's okay, buddy. Music that was bugging me, because him dancing in the background doesn't really bug me necessarily, but when he starts playing the music, it's like, dude, I'm trying to do something. But anyway, that's my son.
What a showboat, just like his old man.
Oh yeah. Oh, you wait, Phil. You think I'm a showboat, Phil? I'm just saying, you and little Luca, he's gonna be in your background every episode. Now that you had this brilliant idea to do video. Okay, moving right along. About Secret Empire 10 is we get this get out of jail free card for Cap, which is that on, I'm sure, national TV, because Cap's got this all being broadcast as he's fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wants to show the defeat of his enemies. Out comes real Cap, who grabs Mjolnir to show that he is the true worthy one.
Oh, and what about that twist on Mjolnir?
Oh yeah. If ye be strong enough, you shall have the power of the Hydra. And but this, of course, goes to the basic nature of a cosmic cube. You know, it was an interesting thing I was thinking about cosmic cubes and the history of cosmic cubes explained through the Secret Wars 3 storyline in Fantastic Four, which went for 2 issues, where they go back and find the Beyonder, and they basically explain that cosmic cubes are the Beyonders that have come. Well, so what they said is that the force of that other universe comes into these cosmic cubes, and they become.
It's kind of like a force field that shapes it, and then they eventually mature into like a cosmic being.
Well, yeah, well, exactly, and that's essentially what we got in the Avengers versus Invaders storyline, which was that, you know, and the visions from. I'm so sad the visions from Smoke World didn't come back. I honestly, I haven't written them out yet because honestly.
There is a secret Empire epilogue issue, I believe, coming.
Exactly. So I would not be surprised if the Vision comes back, because like I said, he was there with Bucky when they brought Toro back. You know, they were there together, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, the cosmic cubes can literally do anything because they exist beyond space and time. They exist beyond." And now my theory has always been that, you know, the Beyonder Prime is the one who came in contact with Owen Reese across the multiverse, which leads to, this is still my theory. I don't know if anyone's going to buy it or sell it or write it, but this is my theory, is that when he came in contact with Owen Reese, it goes past and into the future. Because if you're beyond time, then you exist at all points in time, sort of in the Dr. Manhattan kind of state.
So I was going to say. Yep,
yeah, and the idea is that once he comes into contact with Owen Reese, then certainly he can start to experiment with himself and his now multiplied self that become the Beyonders, which is why the Beyonders exist before the Beyonder. Mm-hmm. Because it's not linear time. The Beyonder is the first Beyonder, but the Beyonders already existed in this universe from our perspective of time. No, there's the Beyonder, and there's the Beyond, and there's one thing. But the idea is that when these, so you know, it's an interesting question. Did aliens find a way to tap into the Beyond, to bring a Beyond in, to control it in a cube that then evolves into a sentient? Or did the Beyonders implant the idea in creatures that you can open these doors to create a magic wish box?
Kind of create themselves.
Yes, exactly. Because, of course, at the end of the day, what the Beyonder wishes to understand is desire. And what is more about desire than a magical wishing cube? You know? It's about what do you desire. Oh, yeah, I got one too.
Oh, did you get it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we all got one. We all went to the store that day.
It's supposed to glow in the dark, though. I don't think it glows in the dark, but I guess...
It glows in the dark, but like all glow-in-the-dark things, you have to charge it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, what can I expect for free?
Yeah. No, it'll glow. Here's the problem, is that, you know what, you charge it with natural light, but then the sun sets slowly. And so it never gets to that glow state. What you need to do is you need to charge it and then take it into the bathroom and turn off the light, and you'll see it glow.
Yeah.
Didn't you actually deal with glow-in-the-dark things as a child?
Yeah, no, I did. I thought I charged it enough. Maybe perhaps I did not.
Yeah. Well, I know for myself that when I put my hands over it, it will glow. It's not as glowy as my son's glow putty, but it's glowy.
The thing I was really hoping, well, two things I'm thinking about in Secret Empire, none of which are probably going to come to pass. After Secret Empire 10, one, I'm hoping, I call me old school, I love secret identities. I would hope Kobik could maybe put Steve Rogers' identity back in the bottle, so like nobody knows Steve Rogers is Captain America.
I
mean,
first off, I don't think that was. I mean, was that ever really the case? Was it? Because here's the thing about Steve Rogers as Captain America: it was a public record.
well,
That's a FOIA request away.
No, because I mean, back in the day, in the 80s, the 90s, I remember when he was working as a freelance artist and stuff. I mean, his identity wasn't common knowledge to the public.
Well, no, but
I mean, yeah, government
well,
officials.
No, here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll tell you. 50s Cap, as an academic, found Steve Rogers' real name. That's why he changed his name to Steve Rogers. So it was information that was out there. But just here's the thing about secret identities: for the most part, no one really cares. Mm-hmm. And if you happen to be Captain America, I mean, it's sort of like the fact that the Black Widow is Natasha Romanoff.
Mm-hmm.
If Natasha Romanoff walks into a room and says, "Hi, I'm Natasha Romanoff," unless they know what the Black Widow looks like, no one's going to think, "Oh, that's the Black Widow." They're going to think, "Oh, that's some lady named Natasha."
And I mean, you could kind of see his face under the mask. You could tell he's a white guy, but I mean, without the identity, I kind of like that he's like a symbol for like everyone.
Oh,
without a name, he's just like this symbol for,
Yeah,
every person.
and that's true. But like I said, I've never really felt that Captain America had a secret identity.
Mm-hmm.
I've never not like Spider-Man or Daredevil, and that's the thing. I think, as an example, I don't think Superman would really. I mean, and I could be wrong. I don't think he's going to worry that much if people start realizing that Clark Kent is Superman.
Yeah, he kind of does. I mean, just to protect Lois and his son, and I mean,
well, yeah.
If it was
Although
just...
honestly, in the current universe, I don't know exactly what's going on with his whole secret identity, if he still has one or not. But
they put all that back into place. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, to some extent, you have to remember, Marvel, the modern Marvel universe is founded with the Fantastic Four, which basically said no secret identities.
Oh, that's the other thing I saw, and I did see an article today, and they're talking about Marvel Legacy and stuff, and they're still talking about some shocking return in those pages, and they're still standing behind the statement that the last page is going to break the internet. So, do you think we're getting the Fantastic Four back?
I don't know. I think if it doesn't involve Kim Kardashian's buttocks, I don't think it actually breaks the internet in this day and age. I mean, I'd love to see Reed and Sue back. I don't think anyone wants them to not be back, but the fact of the matter is,
I was going to say, I think everyone wants Fantastic Four back, but at this point, don't we think that's like a foregone conclusion? Like it's going to happen at some point, even if it's years down the road, it's going to happen. So is that going to break the internet, or is it somebody else? Is it somebody who's like, is it going to be? I don't want to say it's probably not going to be Uncle Ben or Gwen Stacy, but is it going to be something like that where they're like,
no, the two
person
things that might come back are Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's going to happen because
and you don't give a crap about Captain Marvel, so is that something?
No one gives a
break the
crap
internet?
About Captain Marvel.
How dare you?
No one. Captain Marvel was a third-rate Superman pastiche until the death of Captain Marvel, and the death of Captain Marvel is what made him a star.
But Powerless was fine art to you. Come on.
I'm just saying. I mean, I knew he existed. Honestly, he's going to tell you, Rick Jones was the draw of Captain Marvel.
That's jive, man. That's jive.
I'll tell you what is jive. I am the master of the jive turkeys. No, I'm just saying. I mean, and not for nothing, we already have a Captain Marvel. So bringing back Captain Marvel at this point, which, not for nothing kind of got lampshaded in Ms. Marvel, where they had a whole thing about how if Captain Marvel returns, it's kind of a big FU to Captain Marvel. Because it's all, it's a white male being Captain Marvel again. Now we can rest easy.
Well, I mean,
awful gyno feelings aren't associated with Captain Marvel anymore.
Well, one, I mean, you can give him a different name, and technically, he's not a white male. He is an alien. Of course,
No, he's
he's
a
a
pink
Kree.
Kree,
He's a
but he is
pink
male.
Kree. Yes, yeah.
They have similar sexes, similar genders to us. So he is a pink Kree.
And I think they were talking with Legacy. They were saying, "Oh yeah, a lot of the old favorites are going to return, but that doesn't mean that we're getting rid of Miles Morales or any of those newer characters."
Well, yeah,
So
because I think the
I
whole point of generations is to strengthen the next generation.
so I'm just wondering, so are they? Is Marvel trying to get everyone? Or are they trying to let everyone have their cake and eat it too? So you're going to have two of every character.
Well, they've already had two of every character.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
like,
you've been saying this for months. It's like there's like two Spider-Mans and there's like three Spider-Mans and two these and that.
But I mean, are they really
like,
are they really going to double down on it? Like, are they going to bring Bruce Banner back, and you're going to have two Hulks, and are they going to do it as
No, I don't think Banner comes back.
Never.
Never. I don't think Banner ever comes back. Or I mean, he may come back someday, but I don't think right now. I don't think they're bringing back Banner because they just brought back Banner.
Yeah, but yeah, temporarily.
Actually, just brought back Banner twice to hang a hat on it. And if they bring back Banner a third time, I think it just you stop to really be interested by it.
Yeah, but I mean, Bruce Banner plays a big part in Thor Ragnarok, and you know how they like their time.
No,
stuff. Once somebody gets a movie.
No, Philip. The Hulk plays a big part in Thor Ragnarok. We really don't know how much Banner's even in it.
True, but I mean, maybe Banner's brain.
Well, yeah, Banner's brain, but how different is that from Amadeus's brain? And
I'm just saying, you're getting you might get Banner personality because we might be getting a Banner Hulk in Ragnarok.
Yeah, I would be surprised if they bring Banner back. No, it's like this. I mean, I guess they're bringing Hank Pym back. That's something in there. I've seen some sort of implications that Hank Pym is coming back, and it's like, okay. I mean, Ultron's still out there. Honestly, most of these things, they kind of strike me as eh.
Well, I mean, I think they're trying to get long-term fans back. I think they're trying to play on some people's nostalgia, and Pym and Banner are founding Avengers, so.
Yeah, but they were never that good of Avengers. For what it's worth, the Hulk wasn't even an Avenger for more than 3 issues. You know, let's be honest here. It was
the
in
first
3
Avengers
issues.
Movie, yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying. Saying in the first 3 issues of Avengers, Hulk leaves and joins forces with Namor to become their antithesis.
And then they're all just like, let's pretend Captain America was the founding Avenger, not the Hulk.
Yeah. Well, no, but what it is in what they did in the Avengers was they kind of explored something that they had originally, that at least if you believe the notes on the subject, that Stan Lee had originally thought about for the Fantastic Four, which is whether or not the Thing was really going to be a team member or if he was going to be a guy to break away. In the end, he decided to have the Thing become a real member of the family, to really make it a book about a family. Probably because about that time, him and Joan were thinking about having a family, and he didn't want his uncle to be his antagonist, you know. But I think that was maybe kind of the implication at the start of it, that maybe the Thing was going to wind up being a villain of the book. And then what he does later is he revisits that with the Avengers when he decides that the Hulk, who is very similar to the Thing, who is likewise gruff, because at this time the Hulk has Banner's brain, as it were. And he decides to turn coat on the Avengers and then gets mad when Captain America becomes the new Avenger, takes his place. And, I think it was very much what Stan Lee was writing at that time, was this idea of, you have that guy who is your friend, but at the same time, kind of someone you don't really trust. Now, what happens with Ragnarok is going to be interesting because we're going to have to see, is the Hulk a good guy or a bad guy? Because that's always the conundrum of the Hulk. And you have to remember, when we think about the Hulk as a character throughout his entire arc, when we think about, say, Mr. Fix-It, is Mr. Fix-It really a good guy? You know, I remember there's a great, one of my favorite Hulk stories is where there's this guy who's got this like mutant Freddy Krueger power, where when he goes to sleep, his evil side becomes this spiritual being that makes manifest in the real world. And there's this great thing because he attacks this girl, and the girl is running, and she runs into Grey Hulk. He's not Mr. Fix-It at that point. And, you know, and the villain guy basically says to him, you know, hey, look, I can see you. You're a monster like me. And Grey Hulk basically says, yeah, it might be neat, you know, torturing this girl. Says, but you know what? That's totally not what I feel like doing, because honestly, you seem like a much better fight to me than her. And you know, the storyline progress. It's a really great story. It's one of the I really think it's one of the great McFarlane David collaborations. It was a one shot, but it's a really good one. Yeah,
I'd say the Grey Hulk is like an anti-hero at best, because I mean, for most of his history, the Green Hulk had like a limited intelligence, so it's like he didn't know any better. But I mean, they made a point. The Grey Hulk had at least average intelligence. He knew right from wrong, and you know.
Yeah, but again, like I say, when you talk about that Banner Hulk from the third episode of Avengers, and he really is kind of an evil Hulk.
Yeah, but that really wasn't a Banner Hulk, though, was it? It was more, he kind of.
No, it was a Banner Hulk, because the entire. I read Marvel Saga. I know this. I know my history. Essentially, what happened is that Banner, because the Banner, of course, became obsessed with the idea: what if I was the brains and the Hulk was the brawn? What could I do? Because even then, they were exploring this idea that Banner is not a well man. Banner is kind of a messed up individual.
Dr. Jekyll.
Yeah, well, you know, not for nothing, Dr. Jekyll keeps on drinking the dang serum. You know, it's not like, you know, he is a real addict, which, of course, is kind of meant to be the implication of the entire idea behind Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, sort of the demon rum kind of concept. You know, although its actual origin stems from an actual real person who was kind of this, one of the, like, early recorded serial killers, you know, who was this perfectly nice guy who they then found out had a bunch of bodies in his basement, you know. And what's his name who wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? John Lewis Stevens. Yeah, right. John Lewis Stevenson, guy who wrote Gulliver, really got interested in this concept and wrote the book Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It is it is an interesting thing with Banner and the Hulk, because, of course, yes, you know, the Hulk is Banner. The Hulk and Banner like to differentiate themselves, but they're really the same person. And, you know, one of the greatest things I loved was when Banner comes back from Planet Hulk after he's back to being Banner, and he says to the other heroes, you know, I want my gear back, you know, regarding the Hulk's armor and weapons from when he was a gladiator in Planet Hulk. And after he leaves, you know, Reed Richards makes the point, you know, yeah, I noticed that he said he didn't say it was the Hulk stuff. He said it was his stuff. And of course, then what I love was that was during the Dark Reign era. And you have this great bit about how, you know, Banner had cured himself of the Hulk. And then, of course, what Osborn does is he reinfects Banner with the Hulk. Basically triggers his Hulk again, because they make the point. It's like the Hulk isn't the threat. Banner's the threat. Banner's the guy building gamma bombs. The Hulk just runs around and stomps on things. It's like it's annoying. It's like a tornado. The Hulk is a tornado.
Well, that I forget.
Banner is a gamma bomb.
Yeah, I forget what actual issue they pointed this out, but yeah, I like that plot thread where it's like, Yeah, it hasn't been Banner protecting the world from the Hulk for years. It's basically if the Hulk's been protecting us from Banner. If Banner had never become the Hulk, he would be a bigger threat than if he hadn't had become the Hulk.
Oh yeah, and there was a great what if about that, which was it was this thing where like the Hulk is where what if the Hulk was the good parts of Banner,
Mm-hmm.
and he like becomes this like shimmering energy gamma being, and then basically Banner kills it, and just becomes pure evil and has Betty locked up in an insane asylum because he's an evil monstrous man. Yeah, because he's Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner is not a nice guy, and I would love to see if we explore that at all with Banner and Hulk, because I with Thor and Hulk, because I could imagine that. There's a great bit, and I was actually looking at that because there was a still I saw today for Ragnarok, which has Hulk and Thor and Valkyrie and Loki. And all I could think is, oh, look, it's the actual Defenders. No, really, it's really only two of the actual Defenders. But yeah, it's the idea that,
Hey, we're getting a Doctor Strange, well, at least a cameo in Ragnarok, so we're getting Doctor Strange,
so we've
Hulk,
got
Valkyrie. Yeah.
We're just a Silver Surfer short and a Fishman. Yeah. Although Namor is a part of the Marvel. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing if you have in the Collectors or the Grandmasters dungeons Namor, Oh, that's an after credit scene for you. You thought the Howard the Duck after credit scene was good.
Unless we get some kind of like Nighthawk or something.
Nighthawk. Yeah, I mean, I love Nighthawk. Don't get me wrong.
Hey, we've got a couple different versions. It doesn't have to be the white male version. I mean,
well, I don't even mind the white male version, or honestly, Batman in general. I'm not the biggest fan of Batman.
Yeah, but I mean, you bring a Nighthawk, and then that's kind of the MCU's sneaky way of doing a crossover, and they could show their heroes smacking Nighthawk around,
Well, that's what we have Iron Fist for. I'm far more interested in Patsy Walker getting involved in this. Although it would be nice to see Nighthawk show up in the next Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I loved about Defenders is Iron Fist basically saying, "I'm a billionaire. I should use my billionaire superpower to defeat the Hand." And it ends poorly for him because he still doesn't know how to be a billionaire.
Yeah, because he's basically a hippie. He's not he has money, but he's not a billionaire. Yeah. I mean, mentally, he's not.
He is a billionaire, but he's like, I'm a billionaire.
He fell backwards into it. I mean, it's not like he made it.
He's basically Donald Trump. He never actually did anything to earn his money. He's never actually done anything to build his fortune. He's basically just tried not to lose it his whole life.
That's at Charlie Esser on Twitter.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. People have analyzed his income, and it's like, you know what? Actually, if he had just put the money his father gave him in a mutual fund, he'd be so much richer now.
No, I mean, comparing Trump and Iron Fist.
Yeah, well,
there's Iron Fist fans out there going, what?
I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure Iron Fist. But like funny hair and no real work ethic. Although actually, I will say, Danny Rand has a good work ethic for karate, and I'm sure there's something that Donald Trump has a really great work ethic for, just not either businessman or president. I guess twittering. He's very good at twittering. That's his. He is the Iron Fist of Twitter. Is I think what we can say about Donald Trump. So yes, that's at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the two E's in the middle for my political opinions. I have not been on Twitter in. I'm sure the first time I go on Twitter, it's going to be filled with stuff because I don't go on Twitter unless I'm like tweeting things because it's not a social media platform I use. I don't like character restrictions. I have elongated thoughts, but my thoughts are huge. Okay.
But Oh, the second point I wanted to get to in Secret Empire. Let's go way back, but
Yeah. So good old Secret Empire. I remember that.
I know they're not going to do this, but since Elisa, used the Cosmic Cube on Mjolnir, so Hydra Cap could pick it up because it was whoever was strongest.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked if they could have said that effect went back retroactively through time, and I don't know if you want to do this because maybe you still want to do worthiness, but maybe that's why Jane Foster could pick up the hammer, because maybe they could say she has a stronger will than Odin's son.
No, first off, and again, like I say, I don't think Odin's son can't pick up the hammer. And I'll give you an example. In the Avengers, Age of Ultron, they do the thing where everyone starts to try to pick up the hammer, and Cap goes, and you can tell he feels it move,
mm-hmm.
and he puts it back down, because at the end of the day, it's not important to him. He knows he could pick up the hammer, and we all know Cap could pick up the hammer. Everyone knows that's the whole thing about Captain America. He is the worthy. He is the most worthy man on Earth. And in this situation, I think what it is part of Thor's worthiness is his refusal to pick up the hammer, because he realizes how unworthy being a god is.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, to give you an example, Odin's son realizes he is not special. His heroism in many ways comes from just being the biggest and strongest one there is.
And it's just like the Iron Fist thing we're just talking about. He didn't earn his power. He was born with it.
Well, yeah. Well, his money he was born with. He earned his Iron Fist.
Yeah,
and
he didn't earn his money. He was born into it. Then Thor was born into his godhood. He didn't earn it.
And the thing for Thor is he's realizing that he does not deserve, and honestly, it's kind of a weird catch-22 for that, because of course he does deserve to be a hero. He does deserve to be given the accolades because he uses his power for good and righteousness. But he also knows how often he did not in his very, 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 very long life. Throughout all of his Ragnaroks, he knows how often he was not the noble Thor. And he realizes how easy it is to slough off the skin of a bad Thor to be a good Thor again. And what does it mean for a Thor, if you are constantly in the cycle of Ragnarok, to spend a millennia or two as a villain? Can you ever truly be worthy if you know that's who you once were? Mm-hmm. How do you ever make up for all the things you've done as Thor? And I think that's why he can't pick it up. Not because the hammer won't let him pick it up, but because Thor won't let himself pick it up.
It's all in his head.
It's all. Well, exactly. I think that, the only thing I will say, here's the thing. Dr. Doom could never pick up the hammer. And the question about that is that because deep down Doom knows he's not worthy, or because the hammer knows he's not worthy? Does the hammer really choose who's worthy, or do we choose for ourselves who is worthy?
Or do both have to agree? Does the hammer have to agree, and do you have to know in your head you're worthy?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think the thing is that the hammer is much less judgmental than people think. I think that's why Hydra Cap could pick up the hammer, because when they had Thor as a Nazi throughout many incarnations, he had no problem picking up the hammer. He was still worthy as a Nazi. You could be a worthy Nazi because there is this perspective in that Norse, because they're gods. They're, our sense of good and evil isn't the same when you're immortal.
Worthy Nazis, okay, Trump.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying from that perspective in that story.
Well, and And the whole thing with Secret Empire 10, isn't it? That
I'm
they
not
said
saying they're
elite.
worthy Nazis. I'm
Yeah.
saying that the definition of worthiness, as defined by the Hammer,
Yeah.
is probably much softer than we've been led to believe.
Well, I mean, one in Secret Empire 10, didn't they say that Elisa used the Cosmic Cube to alter Mjolnir? That's why Hydra Cap could pick it up.
Well, one wonders.
And
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know it. Yeah, I mean, yes, they definitely gave that cutaway,
Yeah.
and maybe that's their excuse.
And I mean, the point of, you know, Nazi Thor picking up the hammer. Remember, it's an enchantment by gods. They're like, well, your puny political and social constructs mean nothing to us, so it's.
Well, exactly, and of course, you know, there were Nordic worshippers among the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
From their perspective, you know, I mean, I see lots of memes right now among people that practice Nordic faiths right now who very much are getting really mad at Nazis utilizing Nordic imagery. And they're saying, that's not yours, you know, that's not what being a Norseman was about. And, you know, I'll go along with it, you know, and for what it's worth, Norsemen were travelers, you know, they were men in longboats. They traveled the world. They were probably much less judgmental of people than Nazis. Because you have to be when you travel. Because, you know, you have to deal with whatever people you happen to be conquering. Or actually not even conquering, just raiding. You know, not for nothing. If you really thought that ill of people, you wouldn't be raiding them. Clearly you understood that, hey, you know what? They got the best whatever in that part of the world. So we better go to that part of the world to get that thing. Because that's valuable to us. We respect what they do. We're still going to murderize them because we're freaking Vikings. But nothing but love and respect for what you do.
All right. Well, I've come to a decision. The whole Marvel Legacy thing. They said there's a shocking return and all this, and break internet and all this. All right. I'm putting out a contest. I will send out a Marvel prize pack. Everyone, send me voicemails, send me emails. If you can guess the correct answer, who's the shocking return, I'll save them all, the voicemails, the emails, and if you can get the correct answer in before the issue hits, whoever the first one, if there's multiple of the right one, I'll pick the first one. I'll send you a Marvel prize pack.
See, I already know who the return is.
You think you do?
No, I know.
But you're ineligible.
Yeah, I know. I mean, which is why I won't say it here. I'll tell you off air who the shocking return is. It's not the Fantastic Four. Although they may return too, but that's not going to be the shocking one that breaks the internet.
Yeah,
what breaks the internet is what I know it's going to be, because it's what has been heavily telegraphed.
They seem to be hinting that it's like a solo hero. That's why I was like, I don't know if it's Fantastic Four, because it seems like they're saying it's one person.
Well, I mean, there's the other option. So okay.
Oh no.
So here's one thing that's going to be there in our new Marvel universe. I know what it's going to be, which is, who says it's a hero?
Oh. I'm trying to remember the wording, if they said hero or not.
Yeah. I'm going to wager they didn't. And of course, isn't every villain the hero of his own book? I mean, there's lots of theoreticals, but I mean, here's what I'm going to say. So basically, here's what I'm going to tell you. All the shocking returns I'm thinking of right now, I've said on this show many times. Except for the one that I think is like the most shocking thing that's going to come out of this, which is going to be an ongoing issue with this story, which we may see in Omega. Because I think that is what is really at play here. Oh goodness, there could be some interesting things that happen with all that. But anyway, yeah. So we'll let everyone start voting and giving their thoughts. And yes, Marvel prize pack to when it is revealed.
I'm looking at the article on Comic Book Resources.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say here of the return of an iconic character.
I'm sorry, what does it say? Phil, you're frozen, honey. Philip? Oh,
iconic character, right? It doesn't say here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. An iconic character. Yes, it'll be an iconic character.
Doesn't say hero, it says iconic.
Exactly. So there's a short list. And will it be a hero or a villain? We don't know. But anyway, so here's what actually going to be my big question about Secret Empire. So the big reveal, spoilers for Secret Empire. We have on national TV, good Cap versus evil Cap. As I say, aping the greatest Superman film ever made, Superman 3. They fight, and of course, real Cap wins because just like Clark Kent wins against evil Superman, the realness is the Clark Kent, not the superpowered guy. Mm-hmm. The superpowered guy isn't the hero. It's the Steve Rogers. It's the Clark Kent. It's the guy who tries to do good because he just wants to do good. Now, what is weird in that last scene is he like throws the hammer back to Jane Foster, but isn't she like in a cancer ward? Like, shouldn't she be like at a hospital? Shouldn't she be at Bethesda Hospital right now?
That was my other thing. I was like, wasn't she at least like, like if not dying, like it's really sick? I mean, I don't think she was just like standing there running. Yeah.
Although what I'll tell you is, you make a really interesting point about Kobik changing the hammer, because that's why the hammer didn't come directly to her immediately. It took Kobik removing the spell.
Yes.
Which, and you know what that actually tells you?
What?
The Beyonders are stronger than Odin.
No crap.
Yeah, the Beyonders are all powerful. That's the whole point, is that they exist beyond. So the best way to think about it is, imagine if every particle in the universe visible, and you could push one at any point in history, well, all of time, and you can push a particle to make anything be real. So that any chain reaction you want from the Big Bang on, you could have be a thing. That's what the Beyonders are.
I wonder if that's going to be a reveal. Probably not. Of Marvel legacy, is that if not the Beyonders, maybe like Odin and those original, BC Avengers. If originally there were going to be no superpowers, no mutants, none of that, and somebody did something and set that all in motion.
Well, it'll be an interesting thing. Here's one thing I'll say about the BC Avengers and everything that we're... Here's the thing. And what I think is the important thing about Generations is that there is no past to Marvel. Marvel doesn't have a past. That is why Logan doesn't know what a cell phone is. Because not for nothing, at the point in history when Logan fought the Wendigo or the Hulk for the first time, cell phones were a thing in a sliding time universe. Really, I mean, if we're going to be honest with you, by the time that the Hulk, cell phones did exist. They were the big old brick ones, where they were car phones, because you've had car phones since like the 1960s. So he might know what a car phone was. So if she had said, what would have been funny there is if what would have been really interesting if she had said cell phone, and he said, a cell phone? He said, yeah, a phone you just carry with you. And he would have said, you mean like a car phone?
A mobile phone?
Yes. Well, no, but you remember, because you used to actually have to have the phone in the car because that was the only thing that could carry the battery. I remember like the very first mobile cellular phones that had basically a car battery. You had I remember seeing that in a Sears wish book catalog when I was a kid. It's like, get your own state-of-the-art cellular phone. It was this big like briefcase of a car battery with a phone on top. And really that technology actually dates all the way back to like the 1940s. And you might have seen these in like old movies or the 1950s with Korea, where they had like the little hand crank generator. And then you had like the phone to talk to, the command base. That was the thing. I remember.
I wonder if that's a point of like generations supposed to be. Maybe time is fractured, so maybe like yeah, when Laura went back that day, Logan didn't know what a cell phone was. If she had gone back 2 days later, maybe he would have known what a cell phone
Well,
was or a
no,
car
because
phone.
she's going back to the original universe. That's the point, is that when it first happened in the real past. And really, what they're doing is they're jumping a universe. They're going back to the 7th universe, not the 8th. And that's the point. Is they're going back to the 7th universe, and in the 7th universe that happened in the 60s.
Yo, was
That's
that
what
the
we're
60s though? Was that the 60s though? Because
No, actually, it was the early
to what,
80s,
the
I think.
70s?
Yeah, it might have been the
70s or
late
80s,
70s,
yeah.
early 80s, yeah. Yeah, but but the basic idea is that they're going back to that point in history. The actual point in history. And like I said, you watch that technology because that's where you're going to see it. And I think we get that. Now, of course, you get that very much when you get to Thor, and it's actually back in the actual Viking era. But that's that. So anyway, so the one thing I want to say is, Phil, do you think it's a cop-out that they have 2 Captain Americas now?
That's what
Is that their excuse to say it's not it was really Captain America, but it wasn't really Captain America because now there's another Captain America that's our good Captain America?
Well, that's why I was asking. Do you think that was their original plan? Do you think I was wondering, was their original plan going to be, Steve Rogers gets turned back to normal and goes, "Oh God, what did I do?" and have to try to redeem himself, and they got so much backlash and poop about it, they were like, okay, well, let's just split them off and say, oh, there's the bad Cap and the good Cap beat him.
I'm going to give you another option. What if they're 2 sides of the same Cap?
Well, that's what I was saying. Did they
remember that episode where Captain Kirk splits into 2 Kirks?
Mm-hmm.
And you have one that is his wisdom and his intellect and his aggression and baser elements, and they have to fight, and what they realize is that the 2 cannot be separate, they have to be together, which was recently on Rick and Morty, when they have Rick and Morty remove all their toxins and they realize they need their toxins. Those parts of their parts of their personality that they dislike are actually as much a part of them as who they are.
So they do that. Is Cap gonna be like, I'm incomplete, I don't have any like dark urges, or I don't have any.
Well, he's gonna be something, and he's gonna realize something's missing, and it's not gonna be right away.
Maybe like maybe like his killer instinct is gone. Not that he's a killer, but
No, but remember when they split the Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing, and I think what you will see is, you may see, much like Banner and the Hulk. When Banner removed all his passions into the Hulk, and you had just the Hulk's passions as a separate entity, they both start to die.
What do you think that's the way for them to get a retro Cap too? Is like they take that Hydra Cap out of him, and he's more like a version of Cap, like pre-2000. So
yeah, well, so what you're gonna see is when
a more innocent Cap.
When Sam goes back to the 40s and meets 40s Cap, he's going to be a little bit weirded about a Cap who is like from a world where, hey, a colored soldier, so proud to have you on my team. I think you coloreds are doing a good part for the war effort. You're going to have that reality that,
but I don't think Steve was ever like that. I mean, Bucky might be, but I don't think Steve was ever.
Well, no. No, because it's not like he's being. That was just the word you used. In the same way that nowadays an intelligent person says African American, not colored or black. Well, I mean, you might say. I mean, honestly, it's a hodgepodge, and it's much more nuanced right now. It's more about how you say it than what you say. But the fact of the matter is, he's going to use these terms that were the normal terms that were accepted, and he's going to realize that and not for nothing, he might even realize that, oh my God, you're 18, aren't you?
Yeah.
people forget that about Steve Rogers. Is when he first becomes Captain America, he's like a teenager.
He's like 18.
Yeah, he's
19,
like, yeah. He has made the point a couple times. Like he was only like 2 or 3. He was only like 4 years older than Bucky. Now, of course, anyone who knows the difference between 19 and 16 knows what a big difference that was.
Oh yeah, especially
back when you were like, when I was such a foolish child, and now I am all of 19 full years old.
Oh yeah, especially back in the 40s, because it was like you hit 18, you either went into the service or you got a job.
You still are supposed to.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it was more, not even, there wasn't even as much going to college. It was like, you graduate high school, you jumped into a job.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that might be part of it. And I think part of it might be that that's what Sam's supposed to realize, is that Hydra Cap maybe was more of Cap. And maybe that's when you get the hand-wringing. When Cap realizes that there was a part of him that always wanted that.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking they're going to go for a more nostalgia Cap now. They took Hydra Cap out, and they're going to play him more as the superhero again and not as a straight up soldier.
Yeah, but if you do that, the problem is, see, here's the thing. Anytime you try to make your character more innocent, all you do is emphasize how not innocent they are.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, and you basically make them play a fool's pawn,
I think it's going to be something along that theme, because I think they even said when Mark Waid comes back to write Cap, I think he's going on a road trip or something. Well, I mean, so it's going to be maybe him trying to rediscover himself through America and stuff. And...
I mean, it's going to be interesting what happens with Evil Cap, and it's going to be interesting.
I know we always have this question with. Oh wait, we always have this question with comics, especially like in DC with the Joker. How do they not execute Evil Cap? I mean, forget. Besides Las Vegas, how many other lives has he? I mean, he killed all. I mean, they bombed all of Las Vegas. Rick Jones.
Well, he may be on death row when he escapes.
True.
Let's face it. He's still Captain freaking America. And you want to really think that what I'm going to tell you is that all the Nazis in World War II couldn't kill Captain America. So he may be imprisoned, but let's not forget. And there's 3 levels to this. It's like remember when Norman Osborn took over S.H.I.E.L.D. and you found out that a lot of S.H.I.E.L.D. guys were just fine with all that. Mm-hmm. There were probably a lot of guys who were Law and Order. Now, that's the thing is everyone always wants to equate Nazism with racism.
Yeah.
But really, fascism isn't even about superficial differences. It's about ins versus outs.
And taking control.
Well, exactly. So, you can say, oh, how could you be a fascist if you're Jewish or you have friends and family who are Jewish? And it's like, well, because it's not about whether or not you're Jewish or Croatian or African American. It's about whether or not you feel that you are on the in, and everyone who is not part of the group is on the out. Mm-hmm. It is as superficial. It is as superficial as skin color, or as I like to say, it's as superficial as red Kangs versus blue Kangs. Mm-hmm. It's like we're this group. This is our color. We have decided that we are the best, and so everyone else must fall before us. And why Sylvester is still my favorite Doctor Who. Best one, man. Best one of all. Because he did sleight of hand. Doctors today, they don't do sleight of hand. Sleight of hand.
No, I wonder if the other reason if they don't execute Hydra Cap is just they're just like, I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say a legal question or something there, because they're just like, who or what is he? Because Steve Rogers is still out there, defending freedom. So what is this?
Well, I remember when, and not for nothing, you may get Steve Rogers asking for clemency for his brother.
Oh, try to rehabilitate him.
Or that, whatever else it is, it is this idea that we must be better. You
And
know,
I mean,
that was a thing when Dr.
And then-
Doom had been captured and was going to be put on trial for all of his crimes against humanity, and Reed Richards comes and says, "Well, I'm going to defend you. No one
Yeah.
else will take this case, but I'm going to defend you because I think you are redeemed. I think that there is good in you."
we could get that, and plus there might be people in the government who might want to keep him alive, because how many people over how many decades have been trying to recreate that super soldier serum, and all of a sudden there's another super soldier sitting there. He's basically
Yeah.
Steve Rogers. I mean, he's a dark twisted version, but you got another Steve Rogers right there.
Mm-hmm. I am more interested to find out what's going to happen with William Burnside,
Ooh.
with
Maybe-
Protoside,
maybe
even
that's
even Jack Monroe.
Uh-huh. Oh, I got it. I know what they're gonna do with Hydra Cap. Remember how I said I thought splitting him off from Steve Rogers, they might take Steve Rogers more of a superhero route. Maybe Steve Rogers refuses to work for the government again, so certain factions of the government are like, well, we don't need him. We have our own Steve Rogers sitting in a cell. All we got to do is rehabilitate him, and we have our government Captain America, and we don't have to go a John Walker route this time. We have a Steve Rogers right there.
Well, like I said, my opinion is that they're not. I don't think Steve Rogers is going to be sitting in that cell long, because I think Zola or someone's going to bust him out. Zola or Zemo is going to, because they basically said, you know what, you may be Captain America, but quite frankly, not, and not for nothing, for the supervillain community, when the other Captain America shows up, it's like, oh, this one is ours.
Oh,
it'll be just as informative to the villain community as it is to the hero community to have a separation of our Captain Americas.
You know who else that other Steve Rogers could be? Hydra Cap. Remember, the original Red Skull's mind was locked in Steve Rogers' brain. So whose head is this Red Skull in now?
So yeah, it might be an that's an interesting thought.
Once again, he'll have a Steve Rogers body. Bang.
Yes. Although I think that might even be a much more complex concept too. I mean, just because I think this Steve Rogers will think he's Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
but he's Steve Rogers from his universe and his understanding of the universe.
But I mean, even original Steve Rogers still had the Red Skull locked in his head. I mean,
yes.
This guy could still think he's Steve Rogers, but have the Red Skull whispering in his ear.
Yes, it will be very interesting to see what happens. And I think it's, like I said, I think having the having, and that's an interesting thing, because I was kind of waiting for that, and I didn't realize it until I read the spoilers on Deadpool that, oh no, that Steve Rogers is still hanging around. So I think what you're going to see is you're going to get a lot of people who are like, they're going to be people like, yep, just a quantum co-location like they did with the two Rikers, or Captain Kirk that one time, where one was evil and one was good, yada, yada, yada. They're going to do a lot of Star Trek references in all this. But I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to be. Is there's going to be people that just accept it, and people who are just like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be having superheroes in general. So the same anti-superheroic, the same fear of superhumans that fed the anti-mutant and the anti-inhuman things and the Superhero Registration Act and everything else, all these things that feed into this idea, that's still out there. They don't go away just because, our Cap's back. Because no matter how much you trust Cap, you don't trust what happens next. Okay, one thing I want to talk about, because we have gone real long tonight. It feels like I want to go to bed.
No, a lot of good stuff. I mean, especially that Secret Empire 10. That needed broken down.
Honestly, but so I have to say, I am on board with Inhumans. I am going to say right now.
What?
In a crazy jujitsu turn the trolls against themselves way, I think Marvel wanted us to hate Inhumans just to make us eat crow afterwards. Because in the most recent Inhuman trailers, they did something that is so shocking, such a bold move, and so obvious from the get-go
I didn't see
That's
it.
like-
What is it?
Oh, you really want the spoiler, Phil?
Yeah, give it to me.
Spoilers. They cut Medusa's hair. Yeah, yeah, baby. When Maximus takes over, and they do this whole thing where you do like little brain thing and Medusa, and then the last scene we see is Medusa with freaking, a haircut like mine and kicking butt, just like wah wah wah, ninja ninja ninja, super strong because I'm still a freaking queen of the Inhumans, you schmendrick. And what it strikes me is, oh my goodness, they made Medusa the secret BA of the whole story.
That's what you wanted. Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what I wanted. And it's like, oh, they said, oh, it's about Black Bolt having dyspepsia and always having to burp. It's about all these other characters just going, oh, we're going to be characters in this film. And oh, here's a big slobbery dog. And they were doing that, and it was all a ruse. And we see, like, just before that, we see the hair moving a bit, and we go, oh, okay, the hair's doing good. And then, bam, shaved head Medusa. And they're saying, and Medusa now, because that's the thing, they take away her hair, and then now she is powerless. And it's like, brother, you really thought that was my power? Oh, sweetheart, that was. It's like Tony Stark in his armor, It's like, the armor's not my power, man. The armor's just a great tool. The power is this thing here. And the power for Medusa is being the freaking queen of the Inhumans.
Nice.
And she is going to go kick some Maximus butt in these 8 episodes. And whatever Black Bolt's doing on the planet Earth with, Gorgon and them, it'll be neat. But it's going to be Medusa retaking her freaking throne like so much Cersei Lannister or Daenerys Targaryen. I don't watch that show, but I think those are the characters' names. It's not Cersei Lannister?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Oh, you don't watch that? Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I believe Daenerys is a Targaryen, and Cersei. I know Cersei's a Lannister because Tyrion's a Lannister, and they're both these two BA ladies who stood up and said, "BA from the A-Team means bad attitude," or the other word, Oh, but I already used one profanity on a show, and don't want to get any more ire from Rob, especially since Tristan comes in and starts talking blue on my podcast. But anyway, yeah. But so Medusa as the secret BA of this whole series. Honestly, now I'm like, okay. To quote Monica Geller, things just got real. And I am so excited about that, and I can't wait to see it now. I'm like, really, I may even go freaking pay IMAX money for this nonsense. That's how excited I am about.
Over.
Sure, you and me both, sweetheart. I honestly, I am like, whoa! Yeah. How did they do that? How did they get me from like, yeah. Oh, yes, this is gonna be great.
I was seriously considering going like maybe Monday, and I think you've sold me. Yeah.
Oh, when does it open?
I think it's today.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not seeing that kind of cash right now. But
well, I don't know how long it's there because I was looking at tickets. I know all weekend it's there. I don't know how long they're keeping it in the theater. Because the show doesn't debut to the end of the month, so I wonder if they're going to run it the whole month. Or
honestly, well, part of me I think kind of just really wants to see it on as a series because honestly, I don't want to. Because here's what I'm going to tell you: I think they're going to end it Empire style. I think that it's going to end at the end of that movie with the haircut, Black Bolt banished, and Maximus in Pantagruel. He is going to be all happy and go lucky, and now the heroes have been defeated.
Well, as long as they end it like Empire, not like Austin Powers.
Yeah, no, we don't end it like Empire. All the heroes are defeated. Luke is never going to be a Jedi because he's leaving. He never got to be a Jedi. That whole thing in Return of the Jedi, that's just Yoda saying, "Yeah, fine, you're a Jedi." I'm dead. What does it matter? It's like, fine, be a Jedi. What do I care?
It's like, yeah, you're Roman. There's no Romans left. Yeah, go, sure.
Yeah, sure, fine. Fine, sure, now you're a Jedi. That's fine. Whatever gets you through the day, Mr. Skywalker, Man, that one family screws up a whole freaking galaxy. Good thing there's a billion other galaxies. It makes you realize how insignificant the story of Star Wars is.
Thank goodness it's far, far away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's probably like out in the outskirts of the Big Bang. That galaxy is probably dead by now.
Oh yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy.
Exactly, a long time ago in a galaxy far from. By the time that light hits us, that universe has risen, and that galaxy has risen and fallen 1,000 times.
Not if Disney can help it.
That's all retcon, so it's perfect. Okay, so those are my thoughts for this week's Superconnectivity. Phil, if people would like to give you their thoughts, how can they find you? Wait, Phil, wait. Yes, Tristan?
A new movie will come.
A new movie will come. That was Tristan's big reveal. Okay.
Prophetic words from Tristan Esser.
Yes. So, Phil, if people would like to find you, how can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at NightwingPDP. If you would like to contact me, especially for an interview, hopefully we're setting another one up. I don't want to say too much, but nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And get your guesses in about this whole Marvel Legacy thing. Who is the shocking return? Who's the iconic character? capesandlunatics@gmail.com or our voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-capes. Like I said, if there's multiple entries of the correct answer, I'm just gonna go whoever got it in first. Timestamps everything. So
there we go. And of course, you can always write to me on Twitter, or you can write to me in the old-fashioned email way at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And of course, hey, follow Toxin Gamer on YouTube, because that's my son, and he's crazy. I have no idea what he does. I have literally no idea what he puts onto YouTube. So you guys can tell me, dude, your son is doing some stuff he shouldn't be doing, and that's fine. But I believe in freedom for children. When I was a child, I used to get to run around and play in swamps and parks and things like that, and I nearly drowned several times falling through ice. So I think that letting my son play online is probably a heck of a lot safer than what my parents let me do. And of course, you can always follow me on Twitter if you'd like to tweet at me about what a bad father I am, at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality. Thank you for connecting with us once again. Ladies and gentlemen, please, next week, super connect with us again. Good night. Do the metronome.
What's his handle? Toxin Gamer.
Toxin Gamer. That's your Twitter. That's your YouTube name, right? Tristan Toxin Gamer. Yeah, it's Toxin Gamer.
All right, that's your homework. Follow Follow Capes and Lunatics on YouTube and Toxin Gamer. Good night.